Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Oh, I'm so excited to have you on today. We had the pleasure of having her, guide us, do some tuning in, channeling for us yesterday as a group, and like some of the things we shared, like, hey, actually, like, speak in your name and then ask all your guides to come in, and like that was something I've heard before, but I haven't really, been doing that. I'm like, I'm gonna start trying that now and do it that way, and so I really appreciate what you shared with us yesterday. But I'm already giving away what you do and everything, but tell us what's your name and what you do so that they can hear about it.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Gabriella Alziari. I am an intuitive channeler, so I work with your team in spirit and I'm able to receive their messages intuitively and communicate them back to you so that you can live out your highest purpose and mission and calling in this lifetime.
Wow. Yeah, so I really enjoyed what you were doing, and I was really wondering, like, you've got a YouTube channel where you've got all these videos and everything. What's the name of it again?
Spirituality with Gabriella.
I want to make sure I got it right. Okay. So you can check that out. She's got all kinds of instructional videos and all different sorts of subjects, clearing energy and whatnot. You know better than me. But it gives them an idea. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there. And so what is your vision? You do all this kind of work, and I imagine you coach, you guide people, maybe do some trainings and stuff. So what's your vision for humanity through your work specifically too, like your slant on how you want to see the changes happening in the world?
Yeah. So I was not psychic at a young age. It's something that I developed, and so my vision for humanity is really helping people develop these abilities. I feel like when we can tap into our intuition, that is our soul's knowing, and we are so wise, way beyond what we think in this human lifetime. And if we can access that higher level of consciousness, it allows us to make more heartfelt decisions and connections. And I teach an intuition class, and I've proven that you can build and grow your intuition in as little as 6 weeks, just by learning some core methodologies and concepts. And lastly, what I'll end with here is just that a lot of us as humans are very much caught in our egoic mind. We get crippled by anxiety and self-limiting beliefs, and it's really important that instead of getting crippled by that, we can learn to access the intuition, because the intuition will never guide you the wrong way. It will always be in your highest alignment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm so grateful for that, and I'm like, oh yeah, more to talk about with the trainings I do and stuff, and so it's so great. That's the cool thing about this Red Pill XP event, guys. You meet all kinds of people you want to do things with, and and you just feel so connected with everybody. I don't know, for me, I feel like I can be extra vulnerable with the people here versus like a big event somewhere where you're like, this is what I do, right? Have you've experienced that too? Here?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've had some of the most heart-opening and just true conversations, like things that I have not shared with anyone, I've shared with people here, and that has just felt so safe and so supportive, and also so transformative. It helps me see myself in a new way, and I can see that happening for others as well.
Yeah. Wow. So I know you have, let me ask you this. So what is one of your number one, like, little tips for people trusting their intuition more? I actually want to go there first. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so usually what I explain is that intuition is encoded into our heart as well as our sacral chakra or our gut. So the number one tip is to try to imagine you're taking an elevator from the mind down into your heart. So whenever you're facing a decision or an obstacle perhaps, just try and acknowledge what your intuition is saying to you. So we're not trying to get rid of the mind or the cognition, because that has a time and place, but also ask your intuition. Check in with your heart, see what you're feeling. Usually if you're feeling a light energy or an expansive energy, that is your soul's yes. And that yes is encoded into your, what I call your soul blueprint, your deep wisdom and knowing. And so just starting to check in, I think, is one of the most powerful ways to access and deepen your intuition.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's so much more possible, right? When we're just going to trust the expanded energy and allow ourselves to raise our frequency and all the things I'm sure you're about and teach and guide. And when we get into that place, it's like, yeah, the answer is just, yeah, people say synchronicity. Yeah, well, you got to prepare yourself to allow synchronicity to happen. Then you get to the flow and things are happening. And then the dark storms come in, and that's telling you something too, right? And
yes,
like sit down and listen. What's a quick tip you have when people are like, yeah, but I'm not feeling the flow, and I'm so sad, or I've got a challenge in my life right now. What's a quick tip you have for that?
Yeah. Well, just remember, without judging yourself, that energy follows intention. So if you can, try and find what is working well for you, because naturally, if you acknowledge it, it will expand. It is simply the law of energy. You know, often we get caught in focusing on lack, scarcity mindset. It's actually programmed into us from a social fabric lens. But if you can just shift and find the little things that are working well, you will naturally find that focusing your energy and attention on that, it makes it expand. And also let the universe hold you, because a lot of times we think that we have to force and push, but that's actually not always the energy we want to be in. That can take things out of our energy field. It can actually demagnetize opportunities. So instead of forcing and pushing, really allowing yourself to come to stillness, maybe taking a shower, taking a run, doing some art, whatever it is that helps you find flow, that is going to be the best way to start reaching deeper intuitive levels.
Awesome. Yeah, so true. We could go on and on, right? Maybe we'll do a full episode at some point, right?
Yeah.
So for today, we're both like kind of downloader, channeler peoples for sure, right? So we had this fun idea that we both would bring some sort of message. I don't bring a message directly for you, but do you have a message maybe for me and the audience that you could just download or channel real quickly today?
Sure. So what is coming through in this moment is that you are a deep innovator and an entrepreneur, and that naturally everyone who listens to this podcast is receiving your energetic vibration, and also their listening it's like a sacred space. They're feeding that back. And so this podcast itself is doing a lot to just change energy, the frequency of energy. When people listen to your voice in these conversations, their energy is uplifting. And Spirit is just acknowledging that and saying thank you for your work, but also thank you to all of the people who tune in, especially those who tune in regularly, because you're truly lifting your frequency, and that carries forth into the world.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, keep listening to podcasts like this. Listen to my podcast. But you know what I'm saying. Like, if it's uplifting you, that's the way to go. So I really like that you shared that. All right, so I've got it. Yeah, it's time to give our friend here a download. So you ready to receive?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'll just take a moment to tune in and see what comes through. You guys, remember, it's for you too, what comes through. All right, here it comes. There's something in it for you. Okay, so just to share with you, like, that you're similar to what I said to you yesterday already, but it's just that you're a pure wisdom channeler, and there, like I said the other day, there is even a deeper level of transmission that wants to come in. So there, perhaps it's going to be even more time, being out on the rocks somewhere, like a Mount Shasta or wherever it is, but like where you're just like soaking in, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just going back to that place where I always had been before, because you've done this in other lives and things like that, and that I could see. I feel like you're getting, I don't know if you do this yet, but like I see you as a retreat leader, like you're having people go to these sacred sites and having people meet with you, and you're upgrading their vibration, and anchoring that, and then they take that forth, and you have a way maybe of helping them continuing to anchor that and go higher. So I don't know, so it's a quick download I had for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much, and that's come through actually before. So
okay.
double confirmation.
Double confirmation.
There you go.
They just keep them coming,
That's
right?
true. Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, and I'm so grateful to connect with you and the audience and with you today so much. So grateful that we met.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm so grateful that we've met here. Man, this has been so great being here at Red Pill XP.
It's been amazing. The energy is palpable.
Yeah. So, when I met you, we were outside just hanging out, talking, and all of a sudden he started talking about what he's been doing, what he wants to do, and I was just like, oh my God, like that is so awesome. You know, like so many people here are doing so many awesome things. You're one of them for sure.
Thank you.
So, so if you could tell everybody first what your name is.
Sure. My name is Milan Laufik.
And tell us what are you up to? What is it that you wanted to bring forth through your work into the world? Like, you know, you've been doing what you've been doing, but what do you want to be doing going forward?
Right. So I want to touch, move, and inspire people through my vision, which revolves around the matrix in the healthcare system. I think there is kind of a preset structure or way of doing things there, which works really well and generates a lot of excellent results, miraculous surgeries, really good procedures, amazing doctors. But I'm the type that kind of is always looking for improvement and expanding on things. And I think this is just another place where you can expand on the results and make them even better. So I envision a world where you can empower patients more than they are now to take ownership over their treatment plans and expand on it. And I envision there being a bridge, a mechanism, an apparatus that exists in all treatment facilities, in all hospitals, really around the world, that enables a patient to connect to different treatment modalities and incorporate them into their existing treatment modality in a synergistic way. And that's personalized to the patient and based on their history and the nuances of their condition. And what my request is that if there's a patient, the patient could be in Stockholm, the patient could be in Wichita, doesn't matter where. If there's no apparatus at their hospital that enables them access to these additional treatment modalities, I would request the patient to inquire about it. Where is the structure? Where is the mechanism that enables access? And if the answer is there is none, I would request the patient to assert, I have a right to that access. I have a fundamental right to that access because every human life is extremely valuable and every human life is worth fighting for. And this is just a way to fight for human life and find a cure wherever a cure is possible.
Wow. Yeah, because your thing is, I'll add to what you said because we've been talking and it's, how you feel kind of lost in the healthcare system and they're not always looking out for your highest good necessarily. They're good people, for the most part, right? But it's like, it's just because of the way the system will poison any good intentions to a degree, right? Like it starts taking down, okay, this is how we have to operate here at the hospital, or this is how how it works when you go to your doctor. So you're like looking at that and you're like, okay, but it's not serving the patient's highest good the way this whole thing operates. And so what you're doing without going on and on in this particular pocket is like you're helping to look at like how could there be a better way to serve these clients in a way that's really more about true health care rather than throw this together and that together and out the door you go, hopefully it'll work, there's not enough coordination or digging into the history and things like that because everything's speed, when you go to the hospital and everything. So here's someone out, you guys, the innovators out there, someone that is playing that space and he's putting things together. So anything else you want to say off of what I just said? Because you could explain it way better than I can.
No, I think you captured it quite well. That's exactly what it is. There's a lot of parts into the system. It's a complex ecosystem apparatus that the patient enters into when they're sick or when they get diagnosed with the disease. Mm-hmm. And right, there's a lot of efficiencies around it. There's a lot of just kind of standardized protocol, a lot of procedure that's just set in place that's being followed kind of repetitively, a lot of the doctors don't have a lot of time. They have a really busy workload, so they don't have a lot of bandwidth to really devote to individualizing a treatment plan. So it's just kind of just the nature of when things get kind of standardized and kind of grow over time. That's kind of what I'm seeing, and by creating that bridge between the patient and his or her primary care physician to additional treatment modalities, and then bringing those treatment modalities back into the treatment plan, I think that's kind of a counterbalance to all those forces that could be suboptimalities, kind of counterbalance or kind of an antidote to those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So, because I will say this, at least there's been some more embrace of complementary type of treatment rather than just Western medicine. I've seen that a lot of hospitals even and things like that, right? So we're getting there, but the overall system doesn't, flow, well, it seems like. I mean, anybody that goes to the hospital, you run into it, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to be here for another 5 days just because you guys can't get the coordination correct, and things like so many different stories. So that's great. And so what do you feel is like one of the main things you've been gaining, through this whole time here, Red Pill XP?
I've been getting so much. Everyone here is really amazing. They all have their own story, and they're up to so many great things in their life. They're impacting people in so many ways. Great public speakers, such intelligent people, so compassionate, so heart-centered. A lot of people bordering on clairvoyant. I mean, their intuition, their ability to perceive things is just remarkable. So I feel like I'm just absorbing through osmosis a lot of their talents and abilities. And I'm just gaining a lot of insight into how to refine my vision, how to bring it to life, and just kind of practical tips on how to put together a workshop or a retreat that brings together people that are touched, moved, and inspired by my vision, that are energized by my vision, how to kind of tweak my vision to really capture its essence, and just being really more authentically aligned with my mission and understanding what is not part of my mission and what is part of my authentic mission.
Mm-hmm. Because how you look at, I got to ask this because I am a little more curious about this. How, in a minute or so, just to explain, like how do you want to approach, dealing with this system? You've got your patient advocacy, and then you've got like going to the actual systems and hospitals, whatever, all the different healthcare, the insurance, whatever. Are you systematically approaching the whole thing, or are you just working on certain aspects of it?
Right. Well, it's clearly a big project because I'm envisioning a new mechanism, a new apparatus that is created within hospitals all over the country and all over the world. And I think that mechanism can look different in different contexts and different places. And it's not really a cookie cutter approach. There might be different styles of medicine in different countries and different cultures. There might be different approaches. So the mechanism of access to additional treatment modalities might look different from one place to the next. My main objective is to just create that expectation, that fundamental patient right to that bridge, and instill in patients the belief in their empowerment and in their ability to demand access to that bridge. And once that is kind of pervasive and ubiquitous, then I think it'll just organically happen that hospitals and healthcare providers all over the world will develop a mechanism, a bridge that makes sense in their particular context. And I think the key is to get the word out and get people behind it, because like you mentioned, like you allude to, a lot of the ingredients are already there. There's so many promising treatment modalities, and it's just a matter of putting those pieces together, connecting them. And so when it comes to kind of putting together workshops or conferences or retreats, I'd like to invite people from the healthcare world. It could be nurses, it could be doctors, it could be acupuncturists, and anyone who this speaks to or resonates with. And then they can carry on, if they're touched and inspired during the retreat or during the workshop, they can carry that message back to their hospital, back to their patients, back to their lives.
So it has to do with the patients, empowerment, realizing that they can, ask for what they want and start as they do. It's like anything else. keeps getting asked for, okay, well, we might want to start, addressing those things. And so it's like on an individual level, but then it collectively builds as well, is what I'm hearing. So that's really awesome. So like, okay, so you've been doing these downloads for people. I did a bunch of downloads for you last night. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of reflect on some of those downloads, maybe give you a quick refinement or extra reminder or something on some of the things. But let's see what comes through for real quick. Okay. You may, what may happen, I don't know if you've trained in any of this yet, your workshops, you may be bringing in, through you and others, I hear, through you and others, you may be bringing in healing hands, or, you're not touching people necessarily, but like, some energy healing, like, yeah, these are other ways, Western medicine's fine, but, look at what's possible, and, like pains that might go away in people's bodies, or who knows, other things that might happen in these workshops, but that it would incorporate some alternative things that would be brought right into those workshops. So that's a new download, actually. So anyway, so that's what I want to share with you. Yeah, so anyway, so I'm so grateful to be connecting with you here at this event, and thanks for your time to come and share a bit with the audience.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you, and thank you for all your downloads and insights. They're very helpful, and I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to be with you. I was so grateful for you last night. I was looking at my phone and I'm like, I need to create more storage. How am I going to figure it out? And you were just so generous. You're like, let me look, I can help. And even though you're not like a total wizard expert in it, you're like, oh, here, you can look here, you can do this, you can do that. I'm like, thank you. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And we're having a great time here just in this atmosphere of everybody just like, we're all one, we're all helping each other, and it's just so amazing. And I wanted to just spend this brief time with you so I could share you with my podcast audience out there, and I would love for you to share with them what your name is, and then tell them a little bit about the work that you're doing in the world.
Okay, yes, and again, my pleasure to help. I still have an Android, so I can help. So hi, my name is Nikita Bhakta, and the work I do in the world is a healing business. So I appreciate holding sacred space for allowing people to tap into the healer within themselves, so an empowering space. I work in the field of Ayurvedic medicine. I'm also a massage therapist, and I really appreciate tuning in to the subtle nature of my clients and really honing in on what is wanting to come through for their most high and best healing that is based in nature and their unique body type.
Oh wow, yeah, the Ayurvedic, all of that's amazing. Ayurvedic medicine has always been interesting to me as well, like just the opportunity to be able to look at someone's, I get it all wrong probably, but like, look at their type and, what really works for them, and all the analysis that you're able to do, because in the West, it's like there's not that kind of idea of specialization to different type of energies and body types or whatever, those types of things that you guys look at, and so much more, I'm sure. But so yeah, and the healing, so with the healing that you want to do, because it's, to me, what it sounds like is you want to 360 sort of support people, right? To have the fullest, deepest healing possible, right? So can you tell us more about that? Because here we've been declaring our visions for the world, how we want to see things change, and how do you want to, red pill the world, so to speak, to help them be liberated through your mission, through your calling, and what you want to bring forth?
Yeah, so for me, really, it comes down to harmony within is my mission, and a vision of love to restore our full capacity to feel and rebirth truth. Truth is love, compassion, and forgiveness. And so we each contain within us ancient, innate technologies, our breath, the way we move, our rhythm, our vibration. And so we are inherently connected to nature. Nature is us, and we are within nature. And so I like to be with people on many levels, mind, body, spirit, to tangibly feel the body, to listen to what we are working with real time, meeting people where they are at, and graciously holding that space to be on a journey together however long that may take, however short that may be, is always the willingness of how people want to show up.
Wow, so all the work you're doing is to sink people into more of the deeper pulse of nature, of the nature. It's nature itself, right? Which is whole, it's well, it's abundant, it's vibrant, right?
Yeah, it's us.
And it's filled with givingness and love, and all that's good stuff. So, so isn't that a great vision for humanity? So what are some of the things, like when people come into your space, like what are some of your favorite ways to help people, like in terms of like things that you can, like for the audience here, like what are some of the quick things you'd be like, you need to pay attention to this and that, and let's look at that, to help them get into that space where they're living more from the rhythm that they're really, been created to live from, so they're in that, balance, or however you look at it.
Yeah, it really starts with just mindfulness and acceptance of where we are currently. And if we are experiencing any type of imbalance or whatever the primary concerns are, and to find the root cause of what that could be, what could have led to that. And then finding a way that works for them that's not going to be so drastically different in order to achieve the balance. And everyone has a different idea of what that is. So really it takes this heart-to-heart connection and realness of how are we showing up, what level of healing or change are we wanting? Is it physically? Is it mentally? Is it emotionally? Are we wanting to incorporate different practices and ritual in order to move the energy? And so, yeah, and I appreciate the body work, the touch, the subtle touch, craniosacral, Ayurvedic body therapies, really to ease the mind so we can make better choices.
So do you work with people exclusively in person, or do you work with people online too, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so both.
Okay,
I do travel a lot. Currently I'm in Ventura County, California, looking to make my way to San Diego area. So I do see people in person, and I'm translating that to also work online, because this work can be done universally. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the central message I'm getting is what you've been told to just keep pushing, keep going, make it happen. I would think you're not so much an advocate of that kind of way of being, right? So you're more like, let's make massive change overnight always. You're like, no, let's see where you're aligned to move forward, rather than forcing it, kind of thing. That's what I'm hearing when you're like, well, we can make gradual change. It doesn't have to be massive. That can make a big difference, though, in someone's life. Is that right? Or?
Right. Once again, it's I empower the person that comes to see me to see what they're willing to do. I'm not forcing. It's not me that is telling you what to do. You are sharing with me the level you're at and where you want to go. And if I see something that you would benefit from a more impactful change, I will make suggestions. Everything is always an empowered choice of where you want to go.
Everybody's looking for something different. Some people that's going to be like, oh, finally, I have all these people telling me what to do and pushing me and all this stuff, and sometimes that's not the right approach, right? And everybody, so that's so beautiful that you offer. You are, because that's one of the things about Nikita that I've just so appreciated. Just being around her is like, you just get this atmosphere of love and compassion, and just like, you just feel like everything's okay and good. And I appreciate that about you. So what is one of the number one things you feel that you've been gaining, through this event? Like, what's one of the number one things?
Wow, this event is expanding my awareness, expanding my mind, expanding my heart. So I'm really appreciating the deepening of connection here, and that we really can make effective change, because I know we're all feeling like there's got to be more, there's something that needs to shift. And what's beautiful is being in a place where we're all on the same frequency, we're all weaving a similar thought pattern, and we are coming together to see how we can amplify each other and how we can lift each other up. And we are being real with ourselves and real with each other. Like we are really coming here with all that we got, meeting our edges and our discomfort and allowing ourselves to rise above it. So the work happens real time. Like the journey is the medicine. We are the medicine, and I feel this is ceremony. And that's just the way I view life, that everything we do and how we walk is we carry this altar within us, and whatever we show up with is our ceremony. And you know, life is sacred, so that's how I appreciate walking, and this is just another place to put that into practice and share in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a quick download for you. Want to hear it?
Okay. Yes, please. I will.
All right. So let me just tune in here. Just give it a moment. So I'm tuning in. There we go. Yeah, within the midst of everything that's coming through, you guys, something amazing is happening for you, and I want you to hear this for yourself too, the listeners. So. Okay, so what I'm getting is there's some pressure, you know, like there's a pressure of like, there's sort of a get it right vibe I'm getting, like, I gotta get it right, it's not quite there yet. So there's a pattern of like, we're close, but it's not quite right. And so with, you know, on maybe all levels, like that's how you feel. That doesn't mean that you're not getting it right. I'm just saying like it's your vibe. And so that's what I'm getting. And so as I tune into that, what I get is, hold on. I just keep, you know what I keep getting? I just get like these, like, I don't know if it's Hindu or whatever, but that's the word coming through. Hindu goddesses or energies or whatever coming around into her field, and they're just like, they want to pamper you more and just have you just, you know, soak in the goddess you are, and just like, okay, like I can just be the magnetic, beautiful being I am, and that's enough, you know, and the knowledge I have is a little secondary, you know, like it's not primary. And as you flip, like it's about my energy and the space that I'm holding for people, and you value that much more, it's going to help you to relax a lot of that energy. So that's what I was getting for you.
Wow. I feel so seen. Thank you so much. Yes, the getting it right is I do my best to live a righteous path. And so I'm always self-reflecting, introspecting. I do feel like a Devi, like a goddess with many arms, like 8 arms. Like I have my plant medicines, I have Ayurveda, I have massage, I have like holistic psychology. I have just like this presence of wanting to show up and be the best I can, and that to ripple out. And so I have mentioned, can I just be and let that be enough? Literally, can I just be? And I've been reflected, like your presence is the medicine, and anything you do on top of that is just extra. So I really appreciate you for saying that. So yes.
Awesome. I really appreciate spending this time with you. Thank you for your time, and rock on from there, guys, all of you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate, Make Money meditation today.
All right, Stephanie, my goodness, I was so excited to see you here. Yeah, we just talked about this, but it was so funny because she says, I'm here and I know this person, that. Oh, and I know Dan too, because I took his energy scan training.
Did that surprise you?
You know, and I was like, whoa, you know, because it's just interesting when that happens, you know. It happens sometimes when I go to events, and like, wow, you know, it's just fun, you know.
Super fun.
And it was years ago, a long time ago, and so that was fun. But we could talk more about that in a minute, but I wanted you to introduce yourself to everybody. Sure. So tell them who you are and what are you up to in the world?
Yes, I'm Stephanie Zito. I'm a manifesting facilitator, and part of that I'm a psychic medium and hypnotherapist as well. And what I'm up to is helping people to really break their blocks through all the lineages, all the systems that's holding them back, so they can manifest what they desire, typically in 3 months or less.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.
So, I mean, you say it's so matter of fact. Yeah, in 3 months or less, it's done. Boom. I love that. So let's flesh that out more. So what could it be any, you know, just their soul, in their business, in their life, both? Are they entrepreneurs usually, or?
A lot of times it's entrepreneurs. I've also had women who are seeking kind of, I don't really want to say soulmate, but partner, however, you know, an intimate partner, one wanting to have a baby. I'm not guaranteeing anyone is going to have a child, but it really, it could be moving into a new job. And I think the thing that we're doing here is we're getting aligned. We're really getting aligned with the truth. And if you think of the idea that we have multiple timelines existing all the time, we have the timeline where what you want to see happen is happening. We have the timeline where what you don't want to see happen is happening. I'm helping you to jump onto that timeline where the things you want are happening. And also this is where the hypnosis really helps with the limiting beliefs that can come in and want to create interference with that timeline where the things you want to happen are happening. And so that's why it works so quickly is I think our matrix, our system, doesn't expect those quick results. Our matrix, our system tells us these things that we imprint, like, oh, we have to work super hard, that's just for the 1%. Well, I'm here to help us all create those 1% results and to normalize them. So someone isn't coming and telling me, oh my gosh, it's so random. I'm getting unexpected money and this job offer where it's giving me the money that I wanted to support myself just came through. And this all happened like in a literal 2-week span and something else. It's not random. It's you aligning with the cosmic forces, the quantum field, to kind of echolocate and attract that back into your world.
Wow. So one of the words you used, and I have a background and did it quite a bit back in the day, but with hypnosis. Talk about hypnosis. And I still think in the back of some people's minds, there's like, oh, that's that weird stuff, and we don't know about all that, right? And I believe that's one of those things that it's a blue pill concept, right? It's a matrix thing, because if we tell you hypnosis is no good, then you stay in our hypnosis.
Absolutely.
Because what do you think? Every time you're looking at the, you know, like growing up, looking at the TV, they're programming you, right? Programming, right? They want to program you. They don't want you to be programmed in other ways. You know,
to your own
program your
self.
subconscious for a higher good, and none of us even want to be programmed, but like to receive the suggestion, the energy. You know, we're receiving energy whether you want to or not. Like you want to because there's a lot of good energy. All the energy is really good ultimately, and so we kind of break the trance by doing work that you do. Is like we're actually to break the damn trance that's keeping things the way it is, and that's why your work's so effective, is what I would imagine.
Yes, and you're absolutely right, and that was actually part of our training, was watching a hypnosis show, so we could kind of debunk and demystify a lot of these ideas people get from Hollywood and from hypnosis shows. Oh, that person's out of control, they don't know what they're doing. The thing is like it's all self-hypnosis, and I get to just be the guide, and what I love about it is I'm giving back to you through your subconscious exactly what you're desiring, the things you wish to release and the things you wish to imprint. It's your words, and the magic is happening in the subconscious. And the subconscious is really what's driving the train. So if you're fed, right, through school, through work, through television, that you need to follow the leader, right? You need to follow the teacher, you need to get this certain kind of job, you need to live in this certain kind of neighborhood, like this, oh, this is how it goes, this is how we do things, it's just how we do things. We're not questioning anything, so you're absolutely right. It keeps people mellow. It doesn't keep people in that space where they are expanding, they're reaching beyond these limitations. And my goal with the hypnosis is that you're giving me what you want, and then I'm giving it into you into a way that your subconscious can then run that program. So it's aligned with your truth.
Right. It's aligning them with their truth and what they want. Like I'm going to be taking in a hypnosis, group hypnosis session today, and she literally went to every single person diligently, like, fill out this thing, tell me what you want, because I'm going to bring it into the subconscious.
Yes,
right?
like,
So
you guys,
it's totally what we want.
Fill this out, because I'm actually going to use this, which this is my favorite part. My favorite part with doing that in the group is that we are a collective. And so when you have one person, you are receiving exactly what you're desiring. When you're receiving within the collective, you get to not only hold space, but believe in and create the energy force, right, for that person's manifestation as well. So there's so much that's in the collective. As I read through everyone's papers, there's so many fears that are just so similar. we get to kind of do that collectively. I think it has a greater reverberation too.
Yeah, with the individual, you can really laser specifically into them, and there's some advantages to that as well. But yeah, the group energy is really powerful too.
Exactly.
And I know through the work I did with hypnosis, it's a longer discussion why I don't necessarily do formal hypnosis anymore, but it's so effective in that people could have an issue forever. Like I had one example of so many. It's maybe not even the best one, but I just remember one guy who says, "I can't lose these 20 pounds or whatever." I'm like,
right.
Fine, we're going to do metabolism boosts in your energy, and it's going to come off. And sure enough, it did. It's
right.
like it just the subconscious just needed to know, let go of that weight, and then it was gone. So definitely works.
Yes.
All right, so what is like in like a minute or so, like what is like your vision for humanity, like through what you see as possible through what we were talking about here, like through your work?
Yeah, my vision is we are aligned exactly with our expression, our soul's expression in the world. And as we're doing that, we have the sense of inner peace, inner satisfaction. So we're not filling these wells of existence with things that aren't really serving us, like food or alcohol. Like we're finding that space of self-love and then going for it, doing that. So these fears, these things that maybe even are systemic, they're no longer holding us back. And in doing that, we are creating a world in which we are able to support one another even better. That idea of competition kind of gets to fall by the wayside a little bit because we understand that there is a place for everyone, and we have that sense of self-satisfaction that we're exactly on track. So my goal is that we are all in that place where we are in that full expression, and in doing that, we're fostering even more abundance and peace within the world.
Hey, 3-sentence answers, so to speak. What's the number one thing you're gaining from this Red Pill XP event?
I'm gaining amazing connections and understanding some ways to invest for creating generational wealth for me and my family.
Yeah, and then we have all the energy that's here that we were referencing earlier, so it's amazing. I have a download for you. Want to receive?
Absolutely, please.
Okay, remember guys, this is for you too. I'm going to keep saying that. Okay, so here we go. Erudite. Okay, I don't know anything about erudite, but what I get this sense of needing to strengthen, like you could be very strong, very like Cleaver-like, we get right to it, right? And I feel like although it does show through your work and you are doing it, I was getting like there's maybe a little bit more there, and then also, or a lot more, and then I also am getting is that your sense of like appreciating and valuing your work is huge, but it needs to increase on the monetary level is what I'm really getting really clearly. So that's one of the things that actually I got there's multiple downloads as it turns out. But I get this sort of air energy inside you, okay? Like this air, and it's like, it's really beautiful. So what I get from that is just that there's a sense of infinite space that wants to open up inside of you, that you want to bring into the world more, like the sense of, hey, you're all held, and because you're really good with the slice and dice them, but you have this presence and it wants to grow. It's like that holds people even stronger, deeper, in a more relaxed fashion for you and for everything. So anyway, so that's what came through.
I really appreciate that. That's
Sure,
fantastic.
sure thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Stephanie, I'm so grateful for the work you're doing. I can't wait for your session with all of us, and just so grateful you took this time today.
Absolutely, thank you. My pleasure.
All right, so grateful to be with you here, Matt. So, you gave a presentation yesterday. Unfortunately, I'm going to be so transparent with my audience. I was a little sleepy. I was kind of drifted in and out of the realms, but it's even more powerful because of that, right? It's coming in deeply. But what I got from it is just how much you're behind, what you're doing in the world. So tell them about who you are, what your name is, and the work that you're doing in the world.
Sure thing. My name is Matt Ritchie, and the work I'm doing in the world is in the plant medicine space. So plant medicine being CBD and cannabis, and the emerging psychedelic space. So working with entrepreneurs, empowering them, giving them tools and community and connections to really synergize and really edify this industry as it's coming up. It's very nascent, very early on in this space. And we're still weaving through the Wild West, all the the sharks, all the people out there still trying to just make money and just really kind of capitalize on whatever the next thing is. We're connecting the real OGs, the real people who are behind the plants, behind the the vision of really bringing these plants and these medicines to the people, so that we can have better education. We can bridge the gap currently where propaganda really sets in the way, where most people don't or haven't experienced these plants or medicines because there is a disconnection with the message. There's a fear, there's a scarcity around what could happen to you, or what they do, or they just don't even know what they don't know, right? They don't have any real background other than potentially the hippies of the 60s and 70s were using these substances and the government shut it down, so it must be bad. So we're really helping to empower the best leaders to bring the best products, best services into the mainstream, so that we can change sick care into a more preventative healthcare system for people to use these plants and medicines more intentionally.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was one of the things that got my attention that you talked about is how they shut it down. It's just these hippies. This is no good. It's bad for you. It can't be going down this route, and it's just like this broad blanket statement around all the realm of these different psychedelics or drug, different whatever, marijuana, whatever, all the different, there's so many different ones, mescaline, goes on and on, more than I understand and know about, but it's just like all bad, they're outlawed. So when they're, it's kind of like suppressing like huge medicine, huge opportunities for people to get healing, spiritual awakening, and it's not necessarily, in my opinion anyway, all of it isn't necessarily for everybody, right? Like anything else, just like anything else, like food, anything else, it's not for everybody. But if it calls to you, it is for you, right? And do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. So everyone doesn't need to be taking psychedelics or have a direct relationship with plant medicines. And if you're called to it, if it's something that's intriguing to you, then we're here to educate people, really to hold their hand, to let them know that, hey, this is something that's available, because big pharma, government does not want you to have access to these substances. Now we could go into the theories of why that is. I believe it's around these substances were starting to awaken consciousness in the 60s and 70s, and of course they wanted to put the kibosh on that because they wanted people to be essentially subservient, right? So people who are empowered, people who are awakened, are not subservient. So these medicines really help tune you into yourself and who you are and what you really want to do with this world, and really connects. It's a very connecting thing. These are plant medicines. When you take them, you feel connected to everything, every living being, anything in this realm or whatever. You're feeling super connected. So when you have that type of connectivity, it really limits our need for a big brother, for a government, for someone to take care of us, where we can take care of each other essentially, and or we can empower ourselves to create systems that are more for the people, as opposed to the current government, which does not really serve the majority of people. So my personal belief is that these medicines have been pushed, tamped down, propagandized in the sense of, hey, they're dangerous, they're bad, they're whatever, and in the sense of control and now profits with big pharma and all these things. Like, say, a lot of these medicines can replace pharmaceuticals. People are going and having ayahuasca or other types of deep journeys, and they're getting off PTSD, they're getting off SSRIs, they're getting off of all these other medications that big pharma has made tons and tons of money on and will continue to make money on until people wake up or have an alternative to that system.
Right, and they don't, typically with those things, they don't have the same side effects necessarily, right? They don't have all the other issues that they have, because people go on those medicines, they work for 5 to 10 years, if that. If they work,
yeah.
And they only work, and then they burn out, and we need to give you a new drug now, and now this created a symptom, a side effect or what they
exactly.
call it.
You just hit it right there. They're treating symptoms.
Yeah.
So, you're feeling depressed, take this pill. Oh, maybe you feel a little bit better, but I'm, overall not, feeling attuned to what I want to do, or I'm feeling just kind of like a robot, right? I'm not up, I'm not down. Now, I'm not saying people with bipolar or certain things don't need something to potentially level them out, right? But my belief is that anything that you're currently experiencing is coming from within. There's some sort of root challenge there that you're currently facing. So psychedelics help you to face that challenge, help you to really take that on and heal that, so that you don't no longer have these symptoms of depression, of these other things. When you can do that, then you no longer have the swings, and you no longer need any kind of medication to level you out and keep you essentially like a drone.
At least that's the potential. We have to put it in the disclaimer.
Check
with the doctors and all that good stuff. Okay, so all right. So that's the potential. What do you, real quickly, what do you see as the vision for this work in the world, like your dream for the world with all this work you're doing?
Well, as you mentioned, I don't think plant medicines are for everybody. And if we can hit a tipping point of enough people becoming awakened, enough people realizing their own power, enough people not needing those external sources, whether that be government-handed funds or pharmacy drugs, when you get people to be more autonomous, more self-sufficient, that alone is going to create a massive shift in the world where people can start creating the life they want, as opposed to getting by and or just doing what they have to do to pay the bills or whatever that is for them at that moment. So for me, this is a tipping point where I don't know what that number would be. I have no idea how many people in the world are taking psychedelics, but it's more than you think, and there's more and more every year people who are waking up to this as a possibility, that this is not as scary as I thought, that we could potentially have a new reality if they're not happy with the one they're currently experiencing, that there is other alternatives to the traditional medicines that we've been programmed by the FDA and all these other government organizations that don't really have your best interests in mind. Like the FDA is 50% funded by big pharma, right? So who are they going to really bow down to when it comes to certain policy and certain things that they're doing? They're going to go, if they don't have their funding, they essentially get cut back. And as we know, big government doesn't like to downside. They don't want to, actually really want to grow, right? They want to be more powerful, have you be more dependent on them. Right. And this is sort of the opposite. This is kind of flipping that script. So the more people we can have flip the script, the more empowered the people can be, and I think the better systems we can kind of create from this that will help benefit everyone.
Yeah, of course, this is all for entertainment purposes, only, but no, of course, all that is true, and so, yeah, it's funny, it's a big game. That's why I kind of bring that up too, and that's that's how goofy it is. You say little things like, oh, okay, now that video's okay, right? It's like, okay, it's entertainment purposes only, guys. It's just for fun and kicks. Everybody knows what the truth is for themselves, and it's time to just start following that overall in life. And so I wanted to just ask you, because we're running out of time for our little segment here, but what is the number one thing you feel you gained from this Red Pill event? Like, what's the big thing that's been dropped in for you?
Great question. So we're not all the way through the event.
Anyway.
Yeah, and my biggest breakaway was actually just what we just experienced. So we just sat down with Christopher Gandy. He's a tax professional wizard. He's really helping us to envision, as entrepreneurs, as people who are kind of getting screwed by taxes and or our ability to borrow money and create new revenues. He's giving us visions of how to create tax shelters, essentially, and really create ways that we don't have to pay as much taxes, and or we can create our own bank so that we can borrow against our own money and create revenues for our businesses and create monies that's coming back into our systems as opposed to going out into banking system or whatever systems who you're borrowing money from. So for me, as an entrepreneur and someone who is very grounded in this reality of creating money in a monetary system, we need to have all the advantages we can have that are written into the tax code so that we can utilize as much as we can and put those into, like, say, our businesses and our wealth for our families and our communities so that we can help, like, say, be more self-sufficient, be more empowered, so that we don't have to rely on the government for our for our Social Security benefits. I'm pretty young. I don't feel like I'm probably never going to see Social Security. Then it's not really going to be a thing for me. So we need to plan ahead and really get knowledge now to set up things for the future so that we can create our own long-term wealth. Yeah. Plus, Social Security is scraps. I mean, exactly. That's not a way to live. So, okay. So I have one quick download for you. Are you ready to receive? Absolutely. Okay. Let me just tune in real quick. And it's for you guys too. Remember, listen in. It may land. Okay, so I get pyramid technology. So I don't know, like, if there's something that you're starting with that, but there's something with pyramids is the vibe I was getting. There's this, because I feel like past lifetimes you probably work with different ancient technologies and stuff like that. Is the vibe I get from you, and so I feel like you're going to be creating. So I get pyramids, but I also just get like you're creating structures and places for people to come for healing. It might be, some of it might be mobile. It might be, we go to this location, we go to that location, like you probably do already, right, to some degree. But I also get that, it may be more than that. I'm not sure. These are quick downloads, but you have more. Like there's physical tools I feel that are coming that you're going to use in the work on top of the plant medicine and things like that as well. So that's what I was getting for you. I love it. Structures and systems, that's what it's all about, is creating structures and systems that work to our advantage and can create new ways of being or new realities for people to step into. So, awesome. Love it. Thank you for that download.
Sure thing. All right, grateful to have you for this time today. Thank you so much. For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.